Hi, it's Carolyn the Contest Queen, and it is your monthly sweepstakes Q&A. And I have a whole list of questions. Everybody's been sending them in on every platform. If you see me looking over to my right once in a while, I've also gone live on TikTok. People have lots of questions over there too. So I am streaming right now on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, but because of how I do my draws, it's easiest only to give away prizes on Facebook. So if you want to be in to win, head over to my Facebook page and post a comment there, and you will be in to win a prize. Of course, I give away my books and a little bit of fairy dust. Oh, I should have worn my fairy necklace today, but I didn't. But I'm going to get started by answering the questions that were sent in advance. Not everyone can watch live. And then I will be answering your questions from Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Some I can see on my right and some I can see straight ahead of me because I use StreamYard, which I love. It's such a great program. Always use tools that make your job easier, which is actually one of the reasons I use RoboForm, because it makes sweepstaking easier for me. It's how I get organized. The first question that I had was from Teresa. And she said, and this is what happens when some people are beginners. What is the best way to find legitimate sources for sweepstakes and giveaways? Now, I'm going to do a little bit of a throwback story. In 2001, I read an article in Reader's Digest about a couple that entered sweepstakes as a hobby, and they would win all kinds of things that enhance their lifestyles and things that weren't in their budget or took their budget to another level. So, for example, if they had a small travel budget and they went on a trip, their travel budget just got bigger because part of it was free and they could use the funds they had saved for other things. So it's a fantastic hobby. And I thought, oh, what a good idea. I can do that. And so I started looking everywhere. After a winning streak 2 years later, I had so many people suggest I write a book. I did so, but I also made a website, contestqueen.com. Let's give myself a little plug here. And what I did was save everybody else a whole heap of trouble. I made it a hub of all things contesting. So if you were looking for sites that list legitimate sweepstakes for you to enter, you can go to my website and click on resources, and I have them separated by country. So sweepstakes is for the US because that's the lingo they use. Contest is for Canada because that's the lingo they use. And competitions are for the rest of the world. Some other countries still use contests, but that's how I've divided it. And so, but basically they're all the same thing. You want to enter for something and win a prize. That's the hobby. It doesn't matter what you call it. So there's lots of different formats and lots of different ways the aggregates present their sweepstakes, and some have tools and some are paid and some are freemium. And what I suggest is go around and check out the different sites, poke around, find ones you like, play around on one site, maybe try another one, find the format you like, because everybody's different. Everybody likes to organize things in a different format. And so I say, go with what works for you. Because I have people say, hey, what's your favorite site? It doesn't matter what my favorite site is. You might not like my favorite site. You might like another site. And so you need to go and find the sweepstakes aggregate that you like and where you're having fun. And that's when you're going to win. The minute this hobby feels like work or you're frustrated, you are not going to win. Now, that said, sometimes I use sweepstakes to give me a bit of a pick-me-up. If I'm not having such a great day or I'm feeling a little down, sometimes I'll sit down, love my cup of tea, sit down with a cup of tea and start entering sweepstakes. And by the end of it, I feel happy because I'm like, oh, I could win a trip there, and I could win this really cool thing in my kitchen, and I can win a gift card over here. And it gets me excited and lifts my mood. So, you can use it as a pick-me-up, but it's always a great thing to be entering when you're happy. So I hope that makes it easier for anybody that's a newbie or someone that wants to try something new. If you've been sweepstaking for a while and you feel like you're in a bit of a rut, sometimes we get those dry spells. Mix up your hobby. Go check out another aggregate or try some different methods. If you've been focusing on, single entry giveaways, maybe try Instagram giveaways or try doing some video giveaways on TikTok. You never know where that win will come in. So try mixing stuff up a little bit. So Jody wrote in, she says, I'm curious if you enter sweepstakes offered by magazines such as Women's World. I would love to hear your opinion. Yes, I do. Now, off the top of my head, I don't enter Women's World because I don't believe it's open. I'm not eligible to enter. Again, that's why my number one tip is to always read the rules. You have to know, are you eligible to enter? When does it start? When does it end? Okay. And what are the entry requirements? The frequency. Is it once a day? Is it one time only? Is it one time only per household? Oh my gosh, I've done that where I forget to read the rules. I get so excited. I entered me and my husband, and then I go back. Oh yeah, I better read the rules. Oh, one per household. I've just disqualified myself. I'm like, ugh, what a waste. So read the rules first. Someone on TikTok said, what sites do you suggest for a newbie? Actually, any site that you like. That's why I suggest go through the list. I have them in alphabetical order, so I'm not favoriting any specific site. But try out the different formats and see what you like. You can try one a day, for a week and see, poke around and see what you like. And, but some of the more popular ones are Sweep Sheet, which has been around for, did they just have their 33rd anniversary? I've lost track. I have to go back. I interviewed the new owners for my upcoming book, and I have the anniversary date, but it's not coming to me. But they've been around quite a while. It started out as a mailed newsletter. I know, right? And then it went to an e-newsletter, and now you still get the e-newsletter, but the whole thing is online. Now they have like promotions and blogs. Now that is a paid site. You can try Sweepstakes Advantage. Some people like Contest Fanatics. It depends on where you are. If you're writing me and you're in the UK, you might want to try the Prize Finder. I believe in Australia, it's aussiecomps.com.au, I think, off the top of my head. I haven't looked at it in a while. So you have to go and see. The only international database is Contest Chest. Now they have mostly American sweepstakes, but he's working on getting all the international giveaways there. I had a Zoom meeting with Everett, who owns the site. He's fascinating. So hopefully one of these days I'm going to get him on with the Contest Queen. So yeah, poke around. If you're in Canada, someone on TikTok says Canada. Yes. Canada, contestcanada.net is popular. Red Flag Deals in their contest forums popular. Contest Girl does Canada and US. That's actually a popular site. And contestcanada.com is going to be relaunching soon. I've heard rumors. It's actually owned by the guys that have contestcanada.net. And when Dave and Joe retired from contestcanada.com, Joe went over and helped Dave. Is it Dan and Mike? And so they're going to be relaunching it in a whole new format. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't have a launch date. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I'm very excited about that. So back to, she was asking me if I enter contest magazine giveaways. I have in my sweepstakes organization system an instant win folder. So prizes I can win right now or today. Like if they have a daily giveaway, those are the ones I put in there because I can win like right now. And then I have a top 10, even though there's far more than 10 in it. And those are the biggies, the big prizes I want to win, like a trip and a cash and the cars and like the big stuff. And that list may be different for you. You your dream might be a kitchen makeover. So if your dream's a kitchen makeover, then you're going to want to focus on any appliance giveaways, home decor giveaways, cash giveaways, gift card giveaways, that kind of stuff. So your priority list is going to differ than mine. You have to enter for what you really want to win. Don't waste your time entering for things you're like, no, don't waste your time. You're wasting your time and the sponsor's time. You have a finite amount of time to enter sweepstakes. Don't waste them on fluffy stuff. Unless you've done all the biggies and then you have time, and then absolutely go for the fluffy stuff. I love winning small prizes. You see me do some unboxings on TikTok and reels on Instagram. And I unbox the little things. Once in a while, the big things, but it's hard to do the big things because my next big prize that I'm actually going on is a trip. So it's hard. You can't really unbox that. But stay tuned. I will be doing a video. That was a very exciting win, that one. And so in my weekly, I go to all the places that I'm eligible to enter and that host frequent giveaways once a week. Some are magazines, some are radio stations, some are television stations, some are just, blog websites that host giveaways frequently. And so I go to all those sites once a week in my weekly folder and enter all of those. Okay. And I do that once a week. I tend to go on a Monday. I used to go on Sunday, but I figured out that all the social media marketing managers and marketing people tend to come back Monday and update the websites. Sometimes they would update them on the weekends, like if they pre-scheduled a page to launch or something, but generally everything flips over on a Monday, sometimes on a Friday. So if a radio station is hosting a giveaway that starts Monday, they may pre-promote it and say, hey, come back Monday. We're going to launching this at 7 a.m. or whatever. Or it starts at, they'll pre-promote it. But generally, because that way you can be listening at the 7 o'clock hour, 6 o'clock hour, whatever crazy early time. But generally, everything updates after 9 o'clock. So I tend to do all my weekly giveaways after 9 on a Monday. That's the joy working for yourself. You can do all kinds of crazy things. Like technically, I consider this work because I'm working, I'm teaching, I'm having fun. This is one of my favorite things to do. So the beauty of working from home and working for yourself is you can shift your day around. So that's what I do. So yes, I enter those. Have I won anything lately off the top of my head? No. But I've also been super busy and I haven't been entering as much as I would like. But I do get those weeklies in. A couple of days ago, I won concert tickets to go see Los Lobos at the Massey Hall in Toronto. I'm very excited. It's going to be a great show. And so let's see. Teresa asks, is your organizational system paper or digital? It is digital. If it's not on my computer, it doesn't exist. I would never remember to go back and enter sweepstakes if it wasn't on my computer. Now, the reason I'm so good at this is because when I first started, I was not organized at all. And I was screwing things up left, right, and center. And then I started using my browser to organize. And then I had a very old laptop. And I kept saying to my husband at one point, I need a new computer. I need a new computer. And when we moved into a new house way back in the day, he was trying to get my computer set up. And he says, oh my gosh, this is terrible. You need a new computer. And I said, I know. I've been telling you this for 6 months. So he went out and he got me a new computer. And that's when I got RoboForm. And I knew that in the past with that old laptop, had I got RoboForm, it would have just crashed the system. It just wouldn't have been good because I saw so many sweepstakers talking about RoboForm. And the reason I like it is it was originally designed as a password generator and a form filler. And some enterprising sweepstaker figured out that you can use their form filling software to save sweepstakes. So I migrated everything from my browser into RoboForm. Now, there are some websites that you can organize for you, like Contest Girl has an organizational system. Sweeps Atlas has an organizational system. Those are the two off the top of my head. There's probably others. And so that's how how I organize those. At Berga says, where would one start to find these giveaways? Well, I said it at the beginning of the live stream. It's go to my site, click on resources, and click on find sweepstakes or find contests or find competitions, depending on where you live. And I have lists of aggregates, but I don't want to penalize someone for popping in late and missing the question. Let's see. So let me just see if I have any questions that were sent in. Let me just see here. Everybody's saying hi. I love that. Oh, I love people that when they tell me they win prizes, it makes me so happy. Wendy says, I won, 25-cent gallon savings on the gas from Circle K. Now, was that 25 cents a gallon? Or was that just 25 cents all over? Because we had those coupons. It was $1. I thought it was $1 off a liter. I was so excited. And then I realized it was $1 off my whole. I really wish they just would have given like 3 cents or something per. Anyway. Oh, how often do I enter and win? Christy asks. Well, right now, my hobby's way down because I've got a lot on my plate. I'm taking courses, social media courses. I got 2 social media courses on the go. I'm writing a book. I started back to Toastmasters. I've increased the number of times I do my live streams and with the contest queen. So my time is finite, but for someone that doesn't enter as often as I used to, I still win a fair amount. And that's part of the key to winning is you have to be selective in what you're entering. You want to enter best odds giveaways. Tom Cavalli, if I win contest, talks about that all the time. His strength is Facebook videos. So go back and watch him on some of his Facebook lives. And he talks about that and how he wins best odds giveaways. But that is a key. And one of the ways to find if a sweepstakes has best odds is to read the rules. Is it open to a limited area? Is it only open for a short time? Is there a few barriers to entry that people just won't bother? You know, if you have to create a video and post it on TikTok, are you going to do it and enter? Because last year I did it. I haven't seen any since for my eligibility area. Actually, I did one, but I didn't win it. But I did one last year and I won $1,000 gift card, Visa gift card, from taking the time to sit down and put out a video. So you have to look and do things that other people aren't willing to do. So many people are like, I'm not going to make a video. I don't even know what to do. Well, practice, have fun, play with it. The sponsors are looking for authenticity and people that are really passionate about their products and services. It doesn't have to be perfect because they want real people to win who are real fans of theirs. That's, just do your best and have fun with it. You'd be amazed at what you can win by doing that. So I hope that answers your question, Jody. That was a really long answer. Okay, now Naga says, what should we do if the contest host doesn't deliver our winnings? Now, I wrote a blog post on this called Poop Rolls Downhill. And yeah, so you got to go and look on my website and use the search feature and just type in poop and it'll come up. And the reason I say that is sometimes you have to escalate it. So first of all, you have to remember that sweepstakes are run by people, just like me, because I'm a contest manager for some giveaways. And sometimes people are having off days. Sometimes people make mistakes. Sometimes people's hands are tied by whatever's going on in their office. So there's 2 places where giveaways come from. They come directly from the sponsor, or they come from an agency hired by the sponsor to run that giveaway. So there could be very different factors. So if it's run by the sponsor themselves, start escalating in the hierarchy of the marketing department who you contact to see if you can resolve the missing prize issue. I suggested somebody do this. They contacted the VP of marketing for a large grocery chain, and 3 days later they had their prize because the VP of marketing wants to know why the marketing coordinator isn't doing their job. Why is this person contacting me? Why haven't you done your job? sometimes, and be nice when you're messaging people. Again, I said, we don't know what everybody's situation is. You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. Always ask a question. Ask it in the sense as if you're trying to help them. Hey, I won this prize. I'm really concerned. I haven't heard back from so-and-so. Are they okay? Who should I contact now to get my prize? That type of thing. You'd be amazed at how much further you will get. Now, I've heard in some cases, some people are very snippy and just keep escalating it. If it's an agency, try the same approach. If that doesn't work, you can contact the sponsor and say, hey, you hired XYZ agency to run this giveaway for you. They're not doing their job. Here's the problem. How can you help me? And if you frame it like that, you're going to get much further. It's very rare that prize doesn't eventually show up. Sometimes you can't, at some point you have to stop chasing it, especially if it's something small. It's not worth it, because that time you can spend entering and win something else. But if it was big, start chasing. And sometimes I do it just for the principle, because then I get annoyed and I'm like, I'm a marketer. They should know better. I got a very nice compliment. And the reason I put this here is because it's actually one of my goals this year. So I'm putting the energy out to the universe. A random user, because it's got a user with like 12 numbers after it on TikTok, says, please start narrating books. I could listen to your voice all day long. That is actually a goal. I put it on my vision board at the beginning of the year. I want to take Helene's books and make them audiobooks. I don't believe that the sweepstakes books would translate well into audiobooks because there is a lot of screenshots of, look at this drop down, click on this, look for that. Here's the number you're looking for. I circle things, I arrow things in those images, and that would not come across verbally. And then there's also a ton of URLs and things. It's perfect for a Kindle book or an ebook of some sort, because then all those links become clickable on your device and you can just click through to them. Or if you buy the paperback, because some people still like the paper. I have to admit, I do like for certain genres, I really still like my paperbacks, unless I can get a smoking deal on a Kindle book. Sometimes Hay House has those $1.99 specials, and I'm like, oh, wow. Even though I'd rather have that in a paperback for $1.99, I can't say no to a Kindle version. And that's, oops. So that is actually a goal. So I'm just putting that out to the universe, that I would like to have the funds to do an audiobook. The reason I have to have some funds to do that is I don't have the facilities or the equipment here at home to do that. I don't have the soundproofing. I don't have the software. And so I'd have to go to a studio that could do it, because if I was going to narrate Helene's books, I would do it with the best possible equipment. I would never do that half-ass, so to speak, because to me, this is her legacy and her memory, and I'm not going to do anything to bring that down. Let me see. Let me see if there's any more questions while I go on to the next question. Oh, someone says I got frustrated from the beginning. Okay, so here's my tip. If you're a beginner and you're frustrated, first of all, you have to remember there's a huge learning curve. Like, it's like this, right? So you got to start out slow and understand that you are not going to enter as many sweepstakes in an hour as I will. Okay? Because I've got a system in place. So as you're learning the tools, as you're learning to read the rules, as you're learning to set everything up, as you're learning, you're going to get faster and faster. And what I suggest for people that are really new is enter single entry sweepstakes, because you're going to enter one time and forget about it. It's going to get you used to reading the rules, checking the email address you just set up for entering sweepstakes. It's going to get you familiar with the aggregate sites. It's going to get you familiar with a lot of things. Sorry. Yeah. And of course, I'm drinking out of a tumbler that I won. Of course I am. Oh, and the straw too, from a different sweepstakes. Love this hobby. Okay, so So single entry sweepstakes, because you're going to get used to it, and then you will get faster. And the beauty of doing single entry sweepstakes at the beginning is everyone has even odds of winning. So you, it's a great place to start. Single entry. That's my favorite place to start for people that are new. And and again, it's going to take time. It's just like any other hobby. You know, if you start learning to ski, you're not boogieing down the diamond runs on the first day. You're on the snow bunny hill with, taking a class and learning how to plow, right? It takes time. When you start to learn how to ride a bike, you weren't riding Formula or a Tour de France on a high-end, bike whipping through the mountains. On the first day, you had training wheels and you were wobbly, and a parent probably held the back and held you up a little while you got your core balance. It's the exact same. If you remember that when you start entering as a hobby and you give yourself some compassion and some time, you will do fine. Okay. Yes, you got to do what works for you. Some people take the time on purchase sweepstakes to sit and do the essay entries. Now, I only do the ones where the purchase is more expensive than a stamp. So, for example, all the chocolate bar ones or the soda ones that, it's $1. Our postage is $1 where I live. So when a chocolate bar is 87 cents, I get the chocolate and a code. Why would I mail away for one? It's not fiscally, it doesn't make any sense. And sometimes I've done that. Like I've, gone to family events and they have a contest on. So I always say I'm bringing dessert. And sometimes I literally bring a handful of chocolate bars and break them up and put them in a bowl. And I take all the codes home and everybody eats the chocolate. It's one of the desserts. Listen, there's lots of ways to do sweepstakes, right? Oh, see, Danny says, I found a good website last night and entered 2 different sweepstakes. I'm excited. Yes. Start slow. Perfect. And it only takes one to win, I say. You never know. Oh, in a dry spell. Yeah, that's always a toughie. You got to just keep entering and try to mix things up. So look at how you're entering and what you're entering and when you're entering, and see if there's one component you can change to shift that energy. But it happens. I didn't win a trip for 10 years. I won lots of prizes in between. But I didn't win a trip for 10 years, and that's part of my energy system. I got a divorce and went into what they call a dark night, and my energy was down here. So I was still winning little prizes, but I didn't win anything big. And I kind of intuitively knew, I thought, when I'm happy, I'm going to win big again. And after I started dating George, I won my first trip again. And I knew that. I kind of knew that intuitively. And sure enough, since then, I've won 2 more trips. So it's a fun hobby. I like trips. I think if I had to pick one prize, if I only had to win one prize for the rest of my life, it would be trips. I love traveling. Put me on a plane, I'm happy. So how much time do you spend entering contests? So generally, the rule of thumb is 1 hour to 2 hours a day. Tom Cavalli says he enters just an hour or just over an hour. I enter, when I am sitting and entering, I enter for about an hour. I miss the days where I could sit and enter for 2 hours, and I'm not doing that every day. I have things coming up, but I do enter every day something. So sometimes I only spend 10 minutes, but I do enter because I can't not enter. It's kind of like in my DNA. So someone on TikTok says, is there still mail-in sweepstakes available? What's your opinion on those? Yes, mail-in. Because Sweeping America is the only mail-in sweepstakes newsletter left where they list a lot of mail-ins. Also, again, back to my number 1 tip, read the rules, because a lot of purchase giveaways or swipe giveaways. So for example, ones that'll say, hey, come in and swipe your loyalty card and be in to win a trip, or buy some gas or do something and you're in to win, read the rules because there's always no purchase entry options. And those ones, I try and do both. Like if I'm going to get gas anyway, why wouldn't I go there and swipe my card? And then I'll go and I'll do a mail-in entry. So I try and split my odds of winning. So those do take longer because you have to write out an essay. So here's what I do. I go into Word and I type out the essay because I can get the word count at the bottom. Because usually it says like 100-word essay, 100+ word essay, for example. So I go into Word and then I can see if it's past 100 words. And then I take a blank piece of paper and I hand copy it out because they don't want anything typed. Or if the form is online that you have to write the essay, I write it again in Word to get the word count, copy it and save it in my clipboard. And then, or in my organizational system, depending on how the contest is set up. Again, you have to adjust based on the way they've set it up. Sometimes you're entering on an app and you can't save it in RoboForm. So then I save it on my clipboard, say on my phone. So you have to kind of mix it up a little based on how the contest is set up. So you have to be a bit flexible. And then I enter that. So I do the mail-ins when I can, because I know people who've won big doing that, especially since most things are online now. So the mail-ins, and actually for one client, I actually run their mailbox and I manage all the mail-in entries for one of my clients. I've done that for, 5 years now. I go and I check the PO box. It's kind of fun. Oh, someone said they won 2 contests this summer and she's wanting to win more. Yes, that's what I call. So she says, I won 2 contests this summer and ever since I've been wanting to win more stuff. And I call that contest crack. One win and you're hooked because you win something. You're like, what else can I win? Oh my God, it's so fun. So yeah, just start slow and get going. Oh, you're welcome. Amy says, thank you for donating the goodie basket for the convention. Yes, I donated a bunch of prizes for the annual Sweepstakes convention. That was this past summer. And they did it where it was half virtual and half in person. And so some people didn't get the prizes till much later because they were mailed out. Next year's, which is in July 6 to 9 in Scottsdale, Arizona, is only in person. I'm going. I've got my room booked. I've got my ticket. I'm just waiting to book the airline tickets in the new year. It spreads the expense across time because you're not paying for everything all at once, which is kind of nice. And then I'm not going to do the upgrades till next year either. So I'll probably buy the upgrades closer to the date and buy my tickets in the spring. And so, it's good. But I already have roommates, and that's another tip to splitting the cost of the sweepstakes. Let's see. Someone's asking me if I use RoboFill. I don't know RoboFill. I use RoboForm. Some people use autofill on their phones or their computers. I do use autofill a lot on my phone. There's nothing wrong. It's actually known as autocomplete if you look it up in the browser. It's very handy to have. I use it all the time. And sponsors, in the rules, if it says automated giveaways, they don't want any automated form like robotics. They don't mind those because they know that there's going to be no errors. The last thing you want to do is make a typo in your email address and then they can't reach you and they will go on to somebody else. Oh, someone had fantastic luck. She won a $750 giant gift card and free Pepsi for a year and which was like a $300 Visa gift card. Wow. Congratulations, Donna. Love those. I would call those biggies because anything to me over $500 is a biggie. Some people, anything over $100 is a biggie. Yeah, Nurka says she won a $100 gift card a few weeks back. Yeah, those are so handy, especially because they could help your grocery budget or your back to school shopping budget or whatever it is at this time of year. I love those because then you can use that money for something else. So sweepstakes do a few things. They help your current budget by, say, winning a gift basket of all beauty products. Well, now you don't have to go spend money on those beauty products and you can use that money elsewhere. or you actually get like a gift card for the grocery store. I remember I had one and I handed it to George because he was running to the grocery store, and I said, hey, I want a gift card. I used it for $16, but there's, $84 left on it. And so he came back and he goes, wow, that was fantastic. I only spent $10 on groceries. I'm like, yeah, that's why we like winning. It's fun. I tend to use them more than he does. So he doesn't see it as often as I do. And it's a lot of fun. So yeah, those gift cards. So someone said, I'm still bummed because all summer you probably heard me talking about pin code contests. Someone said, I'm still bummed Coke continues to put codes on bottles when they don't have any sweepstakes. They told me for 2 years they'd be back and they never did. Yeah, so here's what happened. Back in, I think it was 2006, iCoke in Canada stopped putting codes in caps, and then they would only have occasional giveaways. Like a few summers, they did these gold caps, and they would have codes in them, and you could enter to win. And iCoke never came back. It was called My Coke Rewards in the States, and it was going right up until the pandemic hit. And they would have codes, and you could enter to win prizes and different things. And they still have the codes in the caps, but they are not doing their program anymore. And so some people are so frustrated. But yeah, we have not had Coke giveaways here in Canada like that program that they had since it's been almost 20 years. Holy cow, eh? It's been, 16 years? Is my math right? 2006, 22? Yeah, minus 4. That's what happens when you're doing sweepstakes late at night. In Canada, we have to answer skill testing questions to claim our prize. I have a whole chapter on why we do that. And I've done whole videos on why we do that. But I'm not too bad with math in my head, but I'm tired at night. And so asking me a skill testing question, I actually still use this wonderfully large calculator that I had from an office once. And then when that one died, I bought another one. And it's huge. It's got big numbers. And I love it for just double checking. Like I'll do a skill testing question in my head, and then I'll double check on the calculator. And then sometimes I'll even triple check on the computer and make sure, because I do not want to get this wrong. So somebody asked, how do you find trip giveaways? Well, it's the same place you find any giveaway. Go to the sweepstakes aggregates. Now, what's amazing about most of the sweepstakes aggregates and the contest aggregates and the competition aggregates, because it's the same word for all the different ways we label our hobby, but the hobby's all the same, is to select vacations or travel. So a lot of them will organize their site in several different ways, like ending soon, single entry, and sometimes type of prize. So you'll see you can enter for cars, you can enter for cash, you can enter for miscellaneous, you can enter for, and one of them is travel. So if travel is your priority to win, then you go and you enter all of those first. That's the first thing you're going to enter every day, whatever your priority is. So if you got your passport and you're ready to go, that's how you're going to find those trip sweepstakes. Now, I did a video on TikTok. So here's what happened. I had seen this technique ages and ages ago, and I saw a recent TikTok, and someone talked about, they were just taking a walk in the woods, and they said, I'm going to manifest a toy car. And I don't know, and I'm going to manifest it on this walk. And they were doing this whole video on the law, like law of attraction, the law of assumption, expectation, living in the end result, that kind of thing. And they were walking along, and they ended up finding a picture of a toy car stuck to a fence. It's like the wind had blown this piece of paper there. And he said, see, I got what I asked for. And I thought, what a great idea. I'd forgotten about that technique. Like I knew about it. I've done it in the past. But, sometimes as we go about our busy lives, we forget things. And I thought, how fun. I'm going to ask the universe for a surprise. So I was heading downtown. I'm getting a prescription for my eyeglasses. And so the store is downtown Toronto. So I parked the car and I'm walking to the store, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to ask for a surprise today. I was in a good mood. I thought, I'm going to ask the universe to surprise me. I want to find some money. I want to win a prize. Just surprise me. And when it happens, I know it's this. So I go and I spend time in the store. We get the prescriptions done. And then I ask about a place to get a coffee or a thing. And she ends up telling me about this place down the road that has chai latte. Well, I end up walking way past it. I somehow didn't see the sign. I end up coming all the way back. So now I've wasted time. And I get my chai latte and I'm walking back to the car. As I'm walking to the car, a gentleman comes out of his house and I don't know, I'm a friendly sort. So I said, "Good afternoon." And he said, "Good afternoon." And he looks at me and he goes, "Are you on TikTok?" He started laughing. I thought, well, there's my surprise. So he didn't remember his handle. I just took a picture with him. I did a little video, but you just ask for a surprise and you'd be amazed at what shows up, right? Because I didn't ask for something specific. I just wanted to have a surprise. And that totally made my day. Then later, after I'd posted the video, his wife commented on the video because apparently she also follows me and says, "Oh, that's so funny. I was wondering who he was talking to out there." Because she was working on the computer in the house. I guess she was working from home too. I wonder who he was talking to. He's such a flirt. I just started laughing. I'm like, this is really funny. But how random, right? Like someone says, "Are you on TikTok?" in the middle of like a suburban area when I'm walking to the parking lot to get my car. Anyway, so you never know what's going to happen if you ask for a surprise. I just think that is hilarious. Okay, so based on that thread of asking the universe for what you want, someone said, how do we ask? Do we like ask for a specific thing or let it happen? First of all, you have to let it happen. You could ask for a specific thing, like the fella who did the video in the woods. "Oh, I wish I had favorited that one, because then I could duet it." I'll see if I can find it again. And he asked for a specific thing. He wanted to find a toy car. I've heard stories. When The Secret first came out, there was a podcast on the Masters of the Secret, and the couple interviewed everybody that was in The Secret and then some other metaphysical teachers. And one of them told the story about how his son was little and he'd been out playing in the backyard, and they have a slightly wooded area as part of their yard. And he'd lost his favorite little toy, man thing, superhero, these little figurines. And I thought, oh my, how am I going to find this thing out in this like wooded area? There's leaves, there's bushes, there's, ferns, there's everything. This thing is like this big. So he stood there and kind of meditated a little bit and said, show me this toy, and just kind of followed his gut. And then he found the toy because he wanted to find that toy in this huge area, and he did it. So you can ask for something specific, and sometimes stuff takes longer. Like when I got a divorce, I stayed single for 4 years because I knew I was a hot mess. I'm like, no one wants to date that. And when I started dating, I was looking for something specific. I wanted, to find kind of the male version of me. I asked for, because my ex and I had many differences, which, opposites attract, but sometimes that doesn't work. So I thought, well, this time I'm going to go for like attracts like. And I met George, and we are so alike. It's ridiculous, to the point of he would say something and I'd go, "Me too." And then I would say something and he goes, "Me too." And then I remember one time we were cooking a turkey dinner, and he said something and I said, "Oh, just do it the way I would do it," because I knew that would be the same way he would do it. But I wasn't asking for a specific person. I didn't say, look down the street and see a particular man and go, "Hey, that's the one I want," because everybody has free will, right? But if you say, "I want a trip to the Caribbean," and then focus on those, yeah, you'll be specific. So it depends on what it is. Someone posted on TikTok. She said, "Yeah, Yam Socks that made that toy car video. I also saw it." Yeah, so I will share it somehow on all my social channels, because it is a great example of asking for what you want, expecting to find it, and then allowing it in. So someone comes to, Mel says, when it comes to spec, which is Helene Hadsel's method of select it, project it, expect it, collect it, I don't know how to project and expect it. I thought I was doing this, but I'm not winning anything. Okay, so first of all, you just have to expect that you're going to win something. You just don't know what it is, and you don't know when you're going to win it. Now, select it is easy, right? If you're entering, I'll use sweepstakes as an example because that's what we're talking about here. If you want to win any sweepstakes, you're just entering. So you've selected it. I'm entering this and this and this and this and this. Now, Helene said when I did that, I'm splitting my energy. And technically she's right. But I find if I just enter one thing, that doesn't make me happy. And to me, that's not fun. So you have to make the hobby your own. She would pick one prize, laser focus all her energy on it, expect to win it, and she would win it because she was in the law of assumption, like Neville Goddard wrote about, and Dr. Joseph Murphy are the two big ones, but there's others. There's lots of teachers. Hell, I just had a interview with Joe Vitale, and he was a big Neville Goddard fan, and so he mastered his technique and wrote about it. So you can read about that in Joe Vitale's book, like the Attractor Factor and the Zero Limits books. Now, it took me a while to figure this out, but I figured it out. Projecting is external and expecting is internal. So you're projecting out to the universe that, hey, this is what I really want. Some people like to do vision boards for that. Some people write in their journals. Some people, Helene used to meditate. I don't know if she had a journal. I know she had a dream journal, but I don't know if she had like a daily, like manifesting type journal. Unfortunately, not all of her stuff was still in her home when I went to get it. So I didn't get any of that, which is kind of sad. That would have been cool to have. So you're projecting it out to the universe. You're imagining yourself with it. So you can see yourself on the beach. You can smell the salt air. You can feel the sun on your skin. Or if you're in a car, you can, smell that new car smell. You can feel the steering wheel in your hands. You can hear the music on the dash and the cars whizzing by you. It's a total external. Okay. And then expect it is, it's internal. It's coming in to you. I did an interview with Pat Mahan. Go follow him on TikTok or Instagram. Amazing videos. He talks a lot about this. And I'm going to have some more teachers on these topics in the upcoming months because there's lots of great teachers. And the nice thing is everybody has their own way of explaining it. And so sometimes when you hear it from one person, the other person can say almost the exact same thing, but the way they tell their story is a little bit different and it clicks for you. That's why it's important to check all the different teachers out because you might resonate more with one than another. And then also as you grow, like different teachers will come to you at different times. It's kind of cool how that works. So expecting it is internal and then collecting it is obvious. But the expected is where people have the most trouble. It's easy for people to envision themselves on a beach or sitting in a car holding some cash in their hands. But actually believing it and the expectation of it, that's internal and that's much harder for people. That's one of the reasons when they teach these courses, they always say, well, try small with a cup of coffee or a blue feather or something, because it's in people's minds, it's easier to manifest a cup of free coffee than it is a car or a house or a new job or a husband or a wife, or those seem so much bigger, but this exact same process. And that's what trips, I think, most people up. But the first thing you have to do is believe that you're going to win and just start entering and keep at it. Because also sometimes the rule of thumb back in the day was it took 3 to 6 months for prizes to arrive because what you're entering today isn't drawing for a while. So by the time the sweepstakes finishes, they do a drawing, they notify the winner. It takes a lot. It takes time. Some of them weeks, some months, depends on the giveaway, right? So you have to be a little patient for that. Okay, and tying back into that, the last comment we had, and then I'll see if there's any more on the live stream. Can you enter sweepstakes for me? It's for VIP concert tickets and I really want to go. And the answer is no. Jim Rohn says, you can't have someone do your push-ups for you. If you want to win sweepstakes, you have to do the entering. It's your energy. It's your thought process. It's your expectation, right? So for example, I'll give you an example. The Eagles, since you're talking about a concert, the Eagles were recently playing in Toronto. I thought I really want to go to that. I entered every radio station giveaway, texting ones, online ones, call-in ones. I didn't win any tickets, but I had enough monster codes for free concert tickets. And I had submitted it months ago. And out of the blue, just before the concert, I got the information that says, hey, you had won concert tickets. Here's a list of all the concerts you can get tickets to. Which one do you want to go to? And the Eagles was on it. I'm like, holy moly. And I thought the tickets were outside of their range of price because they said you only have this much money for tickets. So I thought we're either going to be in the nosebleeds or we can't get tickets at all. But I envisioned us with really good seats. I thought, no, I'm getting the Eagles. So I gave them a couple of choices in case they couldn't get tickets. But my number one choice was the Eagles. And I just envisioned ourselves sitting at the concert, having a great time with really good seats. And sure enough, that's what we got. We're not too high up. We were far enough back that we had a clear view of everything. I'm short. I don't like winning floors because everybody stands up and then I can't see anything. So we were in the bleacher section. It was fantastic. We were high enough up that I didn't have that problem. We weren't too far back. We were off to the right side of the stage, which didn't bother me at all. And it was fantastic. And I think the price of those tickets was actually double because I went and tried to look. I think it was actually double what the budget was, but I still got them because I envisioned us at the concert and we had an amazing time. I love that stuff. I think I did a video on that too. So that's all the questions that were submitted from everywhere. And so let me see what other questions we have. Oh, see, someone did that. My husband, he wanted to go to Target Field since they built it. And last Friday night, we saw the Twins play and we sat straight across from first plate in second row. Awesome experience. Oh, even with the rain. Yeah. Sometimes you can't control that stuff. But that's the one thing I like about this hobby. You're going to do things that aren't either in your budget. Like I didn't have the funds for the Eagles tickets, but I got to see them. Or he fulfilled a dream bucket list item. I want to go to this ball field. And sure enough, now it was raining, but who cares? It's part of it. Oh, Lori says, I just picked up the Mountain Dew I won at the UPS store. Oh, that's always fun. Right. Cheryl says, we get better at doing things when we take action on things. Even Picasso was a beginner. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that, Cheryl. Everybody has to start somewhere. So yeah, just start and keep going and expect that you're at the beginning and you might make mistakes. And that's okay. Just have fun with it. Oh, Ivy says, I got a few wins, a $250 Visa, a book, and some kids stuff. Oh, what about infinite sweeps? Yeah, some people like infinite, that's a tongue twister tonight, isn't it? Infinite sweeps. Again, go to all the different sites, see if you like their format, and if you like it, then stick with it. Oh, this makes me crazy. Colleen says, I hate it when you read the contest rules and it conflicts with their own rules. Example, you can enter daily, but it also says you may only enter 5 times altogether. Why? Ugh. That's because nobody did their due diligence when they were running the giveaway. And usually I write them and go, I'm very confused. Your rules say 2 different things that conflict with each other. Which is the right one? I don't want to disqualify myself. Now I'm probably going to message them. Oh, congratulations. I won a red Yeti mug with Coca-Cola on it. Great for gal on the go all the time. Yeah, Yeti is very popular. I have only won some Yeti wine glasses. I know. Who knew they made wine glasses, right? That's kind of funny. So they look like the tumblers without the lid part. But I love this Oreo one. And it's got, I can drink it for coffee or with a straw. Hot or cold, it's perfect. It doesn't spill in the car. It fits perfect in the cup holder, so I usually take it on the road too. Oh, this is something. She won 100. Darlene says, I won a $150 gift card from Fame and Cools after 4 months. They finally sent me 100. And then I had to remind them it was 150. I never received the other 50. I contacted them through email and nothing. So yeah, you can either keep chasing it, or at some point you just have to cut your losses and go, okay. Okay. If a single entry doesn't specify one per household, is it okay to enter your spouse as well? Yes. That's what Holly asked. Now, what I used to do is when it was single entry, excuse me, per person, I used to enter myself right when I found it. And then before it closed, I used to enter my husband. So in the contest database, when they would do the drawing, our entries would be far apart. And to me, that increased our odds of winning. But I am so busy, I don't remember to go back. So now I just enter me and I enter George. And if we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. So even though we'll pretty much be side by side in the database, it still only takes one to win. And I'm better off getting both of us in there, even though we're close in the database, than forgetting and only having one of us in there. Oh, this is so true. I watched your post, asked the universe for something fun, a prize or a surprise that day, and the code word for the radio contest was prize. The universe has a great sense of humor. Yes, they do. It does have an amazing. Oh, Nat says she's been a contester for 22 years. So happy there's more people out there that are enjoying the hobby. I get comments from people that saying, no, we don't want people entering sweepstakes because there'll be less chance to win. I've got news for you. The budget for sweepstakes has only increased. When Helene was doing it, it was millions spent on giveaways. Now it's billions, like literally billions of dollars companies spend running giveaways every year. And that's just in the United States. That doesn't include the rest of the world. There's enough prizes for everybody. Ooh, Ken had a long dry spell, but it's broken. Yay. 1 6-pack of unreleased flavor Mountain Dew soda. First win in 10 months. Yeah, it's always good when a dry spell is broken. Now I'm waiting for the other two, right? Wins come in threes. That's what I'm putting out for you there, Ken. Yeah, so sometimes the hobby does take a lull. I just got the shot in the arm to get me back into sweeping. There was times where I didn't sweepstake very much at all when I was going through some things. And a lot of people have that. And that's okay, because guess what? I have marketing books talking about sweepstakes back to the 1900s. They have been running giveaways for well over 120 years in the US. There's probably even longer than that. This hobby isn't going anywhere. So if you take a bit of a break, guess what? When you come back, it'll still be here. Oh, look at this. Best hobby in the world. I found out that I won $2,000 in the Sobe Needs gift cards and betting worth $410 and a leaf blower. I'm so lucky. Oh my God, I love prizes like that. This is our grocery budget for, right? And who can't, like, I'm assuming she doesn't live in an apartment. Leaf blower, very handy if you have a house. Betting, who can't use new sets of sheets? Oh, Holly says, I love that idea for chocolate for dessert, right? Any way to get your wins. And also, I do the same thing. If I'm told to bring drinks to a party, I always bring the ones with codes on the caps or codes on the labels, something like that. What do you consider a trip win? If I don't sleep in my own bed, that's what I consider a trip win. So my daughter, I consider, so for example, Kingston is 2 hours from my house, and I won one night stay at a bed and breakfast, a $50 gift certificate for dinner, passes on the Thousand Island boat tour. I think that was it. And so I took my daughter. We went one summer. We went, stayed at the bed and breakfast. It was this quaint little place. And then we toured around town, and they had a passport thing for town to get you to see all the historic things, because Kingston is very one of Canada's oldest cities, and it's got a lot of really historic things. Also, because it's close to the US border, we had a fort there. I think it's Fort Henry. So we could, protect ourselves against the Americans back in the 1800s or 1700s. It's kind of funny to think about now. You're like, really? But then, they had the tour. So some things I paid for, like I paid for the tour of the fort because it's fascinating to hear about history, and then we had a really nice dinner and we just had fun, and we stayed in the bed and breakfast. And so of course breakfast was included the next day. I consider that a trip win, even though the place is only 2 hours from my house. Also, the 2 hours the other way, I want a weekend getaway in wine country. So I took a girlfriend and the two of us went. We had a chauffeur limo around. There was a wine tasting thing. We had like a booklet with all the coupons for free drinks. I know, right? And we got like one glass of wine, and there were tasting glasses. So, it wasn't too bad. But we had a limo driver and he took us around, and we had 2 nights in the hotel and gift certificates for the restaurants in the city. And that was 2 hours the other way. And so I consider those trip wins because I'm not sleeping in my own bed. But my favorite kind are when I have to get on an airplane to go somewhere. Yes, I love to win what I can't afford. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, yes. Lori says, my fiance won $5,200 in groceries from Safeway by snail mail. Yes, I said that. They're still out there. So, yes, do it. Oh, nice. I won a sweatshirt and a really nice bottle from Reese's University site. It's a mail-in for a code. Yeah. So, again, you have to choose what. Let's see. I think we're at the end here. Oh, when you check a mail-in for your clients, do you see stickers or colored envelopes? Actually, I don't. And I know the biggest winners for mail-in sweepstakes just use plain number 10s and plain paper. Sometimes the 3x5s do have the lines on them because they're the easiest ones to buy, but that's fine. And then I scan everything in and then send it off to the sponsor for them to do the draws. So they add those scanned ones into the draw pool. What is the hottest sweepstakes to enter right now? Well, it depends on what you want to win. It could be anything from a trip to the Super Bowl. I just started seeing those again because prizes tend to be cyclical. Like the barbecue giveaways are winding down because they start in the spring for barbecue season. Sweepstakes for the Super Bowl are ramping up because football season's just starting. Hockey prizes are just starting to show up. So you're going to start to see trips to the Stanley Cup. Baseball's winding down, but you're going to start seeing trips to the World Series. Actually, that probably started in the summer. So prizes are seasonal. So, and it depends on what you want to win. If you don't want to win a trip to the Super Bowl is not going to appeal to you. Oh, my advice is do not listen to all the family members say that you'll never win. As long as you enter the same contest daily, you will win eventually. That is so true. And I know this because it's happened to me twice, and I've done videos on this. When I first started entering sweepstakes as a hobby, when I was married to my husband, he thought I was wasting my time. And it took a little bit of time, but I won some like small prizes like movie passes and things. And then the bigger prizes started to show up. And then pretty soon it was like, hey, are we in this one? Have you seen this giveaway? Are you making sure you're entering this one daily? It's amazing how that flips. And then a very similar thing happened with George because I was out pin code hunting the first year we were together. Every morning in the summer, I was out pin code hunting, and he's like, shouldn't you be focusing on work, like writing my books and doing all that stuff that I do? And I said, look, I need to exercise. So I either pay a gym and go and walk on a treadmill for an hour every morning, or I get fresh air. It's free. It's fresh air versus inside a building. And I have an opportunity to win. So for 4 months, I shut down my gym membership and I go walking every day. Except for the days it's pouring rain. And I have pin code hunted in the pouring rain, but it's not fun. So I don't do it often. So I went out there and he was kind of bothered him that I wasn't like focusing on work. And the end of that summer, I won us a trip for 40 Universal Studios. And so after that, the next year, it was like, hey, aren't you supposed to get up out of bed and go pin code hunting this morning? When I'd want to sleep in, I wouldn't feel like it. He's like, hey, you got to get up and go get those codes. And then he still doubts. Like I said, I wanted a trip to take my sister and her husband away long. I did a whole video on this on TikTok. But I said I really wanted to take them on a trip, and here I am. I teach the law of attraction, I teach the law of assumption, and I said to him, and I really want to win this trip. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I've got to sell, I've got to sell I got to finish the books. I got to sell a lot of books. I got to get out of debt. And a week later, I saw a contest during the Super Bowl to win a gift card for travel. And I hit that one so hard for 4 hours. I did nothing but enter, and I won one of them. And I was going away, and I'm like, why? I teach this stuff, and even I forget that you don't need the money. Just focus on the end result. And so next month, we're going away, the 4 of us, to Mexico, just like I said I wanted to go. So my sister didn't get a choice. I said, we can go to another country, but I really want Mexico. So she said, okay. So I won a trip, and the 4 of us are going away. Because when I turned 50, she took me away, and then that didn't happen on the year she turned 50, and she got married. And that year I was broke. I didn't buy them a wedding present. And then COVID hit, and they didn't travel. They didn't get a honeymoon. So I thought, okay, I'm going to win a trip, and this is going to check all those boxes. And sure enough, off we go. We're going to go to Mexico. It's going to be so fun. Stay tuned. I'll be doing videos from Mexico, of course. So yeah, don't listen to your relatives. You just focus on winning yourself, because they will turn around. Don't let them be crabs in a bucket. They expect it. When one tries to climb out, the others pull them down. Don't worry about that. You just enter and win, and it's your hobby. Oh, someone said I want a gift card for $3, so I'll see you over Zoom, because my virtual contest club meetings cost $1. Yeah, I do that for a couple of reasons. One, it helps me track who's coming, and 2, it helps mitigate my cost of Zoom for the meetings. Because if we were in a coffee shop, we'd all be buying coffees and, maybe a donut or something, and supporting the host of the meeting when we used to meet in person. And this way it's kind of the same. Plus it helps me track who's coming, because otherwise I don't know who to send the link to and stuff. So it just makes it easier. I hate skill testing questions. They're always math. Well, there's a reason there's math. It's because math is a universal language. That's why they don't ask like history questions or anything. A math question. So there's so many different languages in the world. There's so many different levels of education in the world. There's so many different levels of but math is universal. And the questions are simple enough that anybody, it should be at I think they said a grade 5 or 6 level math. Anybody should be able to answer it from anywhere in the world. That's why they use math as a skill testing question. Ooh, this is interesting. I have not heard about this. Christy says there's a small claims lawsuit that was filed recently because Coke was not honoring the codes that consumers purchased just for codes. I'm sure the settlement be offered for all open Coke accounts. I will have to go Google that. That sounds like a good blog post. Can you see the fine print in WooBox Sweepstakes? I can, because I run WooBox Sweepstakes. You have to click on the certain link, and they also had to have filled out the rules. If they didn't fill out the rules form section in the app, there won't be any rules there, which kind of makes me crazy as a marketer. Can you discuss wishery a bit? I'm not very good at it. I have no idea what wishery is. I'm assuming you mean Helene's maneuvers for wishcraft, which is basically her spec method. So she had two. Here, let me go over it in her book. So in her book, this is my updated version. There's 2 sections. So when she wrote the first book, she didn't have spec in it. She put it in the second edition. So in the first one, she had set a goal, never entertain doubts, right? And here you can con yourself into anything. That she did when she was terrified of flying. Okay, so that was her original method. And then she added spec, which is here, which is select it, project it, expect it, collect it. Okay, so there's 2 different methods she has, but there's so many teachers that talk about it. Did you ever win for your husband? All the time. I consider them my wins because I did the entering, but the prize came in his name. And George's too. Sometimes prizes will show up and he'll be like, what did I get? I'm like, oh, you don't need it. It's fine. But a lot of times I win, like I won a beautiful Canada Dry t-shirt. He loves Canada Dry. I love Canada Dry. Actually, it was funny. That was one of the things we had in common. We both love ginger ale. So I knew the t-shirts were going to be men's and not ladies cut. So I just ordered it in his size. So sometimes it's my prize, but I give it to him. It depends on what it is. He won a Visa gift card recently. I took it. When I went and saw some friends, I treated myself to my very first Coach bag with the gift card because I needed a new purse. And I thought, why not? It was on sale and it was free. Yeah, we're going to send Carrie. She says, just new to your channel, newbie contest winner, bought both your books. Enjoyed reading. Just try to be patient for my first win. So we are going to send you some fairy dust because that win is going to come sooner than you think. How much should you spend on entering contests? Well, I'm going to assume nothing. Okay. And then I'm going to preface that. So if you're entering on digitally, you're going to be paying for your Wi-Fi and your computer or your tablet or your phone and the cell service. So your data plan, that costs money to enter. People don't see it that way, but if you want to get really specific about it, technically you are paying to enter because you're using these devices and these services to enter sweepstakes, which are free to enter. Unless they were like the ones like I talked about, right? Like here's one. It's on my desk. They know in the house. I put the chocolate in a drawer. And if it has a code on it, if I have the chocolate bar, I'll just come and find the code on my desk in the morning. So I know they've eaten the chocolate and they don't throw out the bar. Right? So that cost 87 cents plus tax to enter. But somebody enjoyed the chocolate and I get a code. So, I usually buy like 5 to 10 chocolate bars at a time, depending on what I'm feeling. And if like I said, I have an event. Then there's the mail-ins. So if you're mailing in, now you have your time, the paper. I use a Word program, so I've paid for that. The paper, the envelope, stamp, the pen, and I'll mail in an entry. And people used to have stamp budgets and sweepstakes supply budgets for when it was just mail-in. But technically, when it comes down to the brass tacks, when you're entering sweepstakes, most of them should be free. Like if you're on your phone, you're scrolling Instagram, you should be entering and it's free. If you find a giveaway, it's free. Read the terms and conditions because I've done videos on where if you really read the terms and conditions for ones that seem a little, they'll sell your data. Bigger companies like Procter & Gamble and Kraft and all these companies that are hosting these giveaways, they're not selling your data because they don't want to risk it. But the answer should be nothing. Oh, fantastic. I won the Amazing Race Canada contest sponsored by Guru Airfare anywhere that Canada flies, but I took the cash, $10,000. Congratulations. Yeah, because unless you went business class, like if say the furthest place I would go, Australia. I lived in Australia when I was 25 for a year. I would go back in a heartbeat, but the tickets aren't going to cost that much. So you're better off taking the cash and then buying 2 tickets to Australia and then having all the spending money on the trip. What is pin code hunting? Okay, so I don't have any left because pin code hunting season's over. But for example, on soda bottles, I should keep some as examples. I never thought of that. If you go to my blog and type in pin code, PIN space CODE, you can see I've written dozens of blogs on this at different times with different tips. But basically, I try to support the sponsor and buy their product. But it's not healthy to eat that much chocolate or drink that much soda or, drink that much beer or whatever it is that has the codes. So all summer long, we live in an area that has open recycle bins that are low to the ground, which makes it very easy to code hunt. And I walk along each neighborhood on recycle day and I look in the bins. I've done a lot of videos on this too. And I look for the codes that other people have thrown out, because a lot of people don't even see the contest or don't think anybody's going to win, and they throw away the code. So I go and get those codes and I enter. So I buy the product to support the sponsor, and I go and I get those codes to enter. So I hope that answers your questions. Whoa, she says, I won a grand prize and I never worried about a budget again. Well, congratulations, Brenda. That's amazing. And it's 9:15, so I'm going to wrap this up. I don't see any more questions on TikTok. We don't have any more questions here. So send in your questions. If I missed you, any questions that are posted after this live stream goes off, I sometimes enter in the middle of the month, or I'll do a blog post, but generally I save them. And I do this sweepstakes Q&A once a month. Of course, you have a chance to win a prize. I am the contest queen after all. Oh, that is so funny. I just filmed a video on this today, but I haven't posted it yet. Yes, enter them. And I know people, I don't enter them often, but I know people that enter every single one and they do win them. So yeah, why not? If you have a little bit of extra time, some of those prizes are really good. Some of them, some of them are small, like for some of the places I've been seeing, like, $50 gift card, but some are $1,000, so they're worth it. I think I've got everything here. Keep following, because I'm booking more live streams throughout the month. I've got some contesters chats coming up. I've got some with the contest queen coming up. I have my newsletter that was out the 1st and the 15th. I blog about all different kinds of topics. I've been blogging. So I have newsletter archives that go back to 2005. And I have blog archives that go back to 2008. So there's a lot of free information on my site about any topic that you are looking to learn about. Plus, I'm on my 7th book. Like, there's so much information. And then I don't know how many videos I've done across all my channels. So there's lots of information out there. And if you still can't find it, message me. I do have an email address, questions@contestqueen.com. Of course, I make it easy. And I will answer those questions. And I love helping other people become winners. So see you until next month. And I hopefully will be nice and tanned, because I'll be just back from Mexico. So I'll see you then. And it is September, right? Yeah, it's October. But I moved it. Oh, by the way, I moved it a day. It's usually the last Monday of the month. Because the last Monday of the month is Halloween, I've moved it a day. So I will see you then. Have many wins. Now, where do I end this? Oh, here.